Before this day even begins, there is something you need to understand, something most people ignore, and that is this. The way you start your morning will decide the weight your heart carries for the rest of the day. Because what you allow into your mind in these first moments will quietly shape your emotions, your choices, and even your faith as the hours unfold. Some people wake up and rush straight into noise, stress, and pressure. But there are a few who choose something deeper, something that settles the heart before the world ever gets a chance to disturb it. They do not start with chaos, they start with stillness, and that stillness becomes their strength when everything else begins to move too fast. Because before your phone lights up, before your responsibilities start pulling at you, and before your thoughts begin to race, there is a quiet invitation waiting for you in the silence. It is not loud. It does not force itself on you, but it is always there, patiently waiting for you to notice it. And the truth is, most people do not lose their peace in the middle of the day. They lose it in the beginning, when they forget to anchor themselves in something eternal before everything temporary takes over. They step into the day already unguarded, already overwhelmed, and already disconnected from the only source that could have steadied them. But today is different, because before anything else touches your heart, you are about to receive something that has carried people through fear, through doubt, and through days they thought they would not survive. These are not just words, they are living strength, and they have the power to shift something deep inside you before the day even truly begins. So before you move forward, before you make a single decision, and before the world tries to define your thoughts, take this moment and let something greater speak into your life. Because one quiet moment with God at the start of your day can give you a peace that nothing else will be able to take away. The first psalm speaks directly to the part of you that feels overwhelmed before the day even begins, the part that quietly wonders if you truly have enough strength to face everything waiting ahead. It does not ignore your fear, and it does not rush past your emotions, but instead, it meets you gently and reminds you of something unshakable and deeply real. God is our refuge and our strength, an ever-present help in trouble. And these words are not distant or cold. They are alive and meant to settle into your heart right now. Because this is not about a God who watches from far away. This is about a God who stands close to you even in your most uncertain and fragile moments. You may not know what today will bring, and you may not feel completely ready for every situation that comes your way. But you are not walking into it alone. There is a strength available to you that does not come from your own effort, your own plans, or your own ability to control everything. Even if everything around you feels unstable, even if people change and situations shift without warning, there is still a place where your heart can rest without fear. That place is not found in perfect outcomes, but in trusting the one who remains steady when everything else feels uncertain. Sometimes, the weight you feel is not just from what is happening around you, but from what you're trying to carry all by yourself without realizing it. And this psalm gently reminds you that you were never meant to carry everything on your own shoulders. You are allowed to release the pressure. You are allowed to let go of the need to control every detail. And you are allowed to trust that God is already present in what you are about to face. Letting go does not mean weakness. It means you are finally placing your trust in something greater than yourself. Because real strength is not found in holding everything together perfectly, but in knowing where to rest when you feel like you are falling apart. And when you begin your day with that kind of trust, something inside you becomes steady, even when life around you is not. So as you move forward into this day, carry this truth quietly within you and let it shape your thoughts and your reactions in every moment. No matter what comes, you already have a refuge. You already have strength. And you are already being held in a way you cannot always see, but can always trust. The second psalm speaks to a different kind of struggle. The one that follows you quietly. The one that does not always show on your face, but sits deep inside your thoughts. It is the kind of weight that makes you question yourself. The kind that makes you wonder if you are enough or if you are slowly falling behind in life. Why, my soul, are you downcast? Why so disturbed within me? And in these words, you hear honesty, not perfection. This is someone speaking directly to their own heart, not hiding the struggle, but bringing it into the light. Because sometimes, the hardest battles are not outside of you. They are inside your own mind, where doubt, fear, and insecurity quietly repeat themselves. And if you're not careful, those thoughts begin to feel like truth, even when they are not. But this psalm does something powerful. It does not stay in the darkness of those thoughts. It gently redirects the heart towards something greater. It reminds you that even when your emotions feel heavy, they are not meant to lead your life. Put your hope in God, not as a command filled with pressure, but as an invitation filled with quiet reassurance. Because hope is not something you force. It is something you choose to return to again and again. You may still feel uncertain, and you may still carry questions that do not have clear answers yet. But you are not without direction. Even in the middle of emotional noise, there is still a quiet place where your heart can reset and find stability again. This psalm teaches you something most people overlook, and that is the importance of speaking truth to your own soul instead of letting your emotions speak over you. Because what you repeat inside your mind will eventually shape how you see yourself and how you face your day. So today, instead of letting doubt lead you, choose to gently remind yourself where your hope comes from and who is still guiding your steps. And even if your feelings take time to catch up, let your heart slowly rest in the truth that you are not as lost as you sometimes feel. The third psalm speaks to the moments when life feels uncertain and the future feels unclear. When you are standing in the middle of your journey, but you cannot see where the path is leading. It is the quiet struggle of not knowing what comes next, and the heavy feeling of trying to move forward without clear direction. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And these words gently challenge the way you have been trying to figure everything out on your own. Because sometimes the more you try to control every detail, the more lost you begin to feel inside. You want clarity, you want answers, and you want to feel sure about the steps you are taking. But life does not always give you that comfort right away. And in those moments, it becomes easy to depend only on what you can see and understand. But this psalm reminds you that your understanding is limited, and it was never meant to carry the full weight of your decisions or your future. There is a guidance beyond your sight, a direction that is not always visible but is always present. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your path straight. And this is not about having every step revealed before you move. It is about trusting that even when the road looks unclear, you are still being guided in the right direction. You may not see the full picture, and you may not understand why certain things are happening the way they are. But that does not mean your path is wrong. Sometimes, the clearest direction comes only after you choose to trust without having all the answers first. This psalm invites you to release the pressure of having to figure everything out perfectly before taking your next step. Because your journey was never meant to be built on certainty. It was meant to be built on trust. So as you move forward today, let go of the need to see everything clearly and instead focus on taking the next step with quiet faith. And trust that even in the unknown, you are not lost. You are being led in a way that will make sense in time. The fourth psalm speaks to the moments when your heart feels restless, when the noise of life does not stop even when you try to slow down, and when peace feels just out of reach. It is the quiet tension you carry when your mind keeps running, when your thoughts refuse to settle, and when the night feels heavier than it should. In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety. And these words are not just about the night. They are about the condition of your heart. Because real peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of trust, even when your situation has not changed yet. You may still have unanswered questions, and you may still feel the weight of things you cannot control. But peace does not require everything to be solved first. It only asks that you stop carrying what was never meant to stay in your hands. Sometimes the reason you feel so restless is not because life is too heavy, but because you are trying to hold on to everything at once without letting anything go. And slowly, without realizing it, that pressure begins to steal your peace from within. But this psalm gently invites you into something different, something quieter, something deeper than control or understanding. It invites you into rest, not just physical rest, but a kind of peace that settles your thoughts and softens your heart. You do not have to keep replaying every situation in your mind, and you do not have to solve tomorrow before it even arrives. You are allowed to pause, to breathe, and to trust that you are being held even in the stillness. Because peace is not something you chase. It is something you receive when you finally stop trying to control everything around you. And when you begin to let go, even just a little, you will notice a quiet calm slowly returning to your heart. So as you carry this psalm with you, let it remind you that no matter how loud life becomes, there is still a place of peace available to you. And even in the middle of everything you cannot control, you can still rest in the quiet assurance that you are safe, you are seen, and you are not alone. The fifth psalm speaks to the part of your heart that feels tired from waiting, the part that has been praying, hoping, and holding on, but still has not seen the answer you were expecting. It is the quiet place inside you where faith and doubt sometimes stand side by side, where you believe, but you're also wondering how much longer it will take. Wait for the Lord. Be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord. And these words are not easy, because waiting often feels like silence. It can feel like nothing is changing, like your prayers are going unheard, and like you are standing still while everything else moves forward. But this psalm is not asking you to wait without purpose, and it is not asking you to ignore how you feel. It is reminding you that waiting is not emptiness. It is a space where something deeper is quietly being formed inside you, even when you cannot see progress. Even when nothing around you seems to be shifting, it does not mean that nothing is happening. Some of the most important changes are the ones you cannot see yet, the ones that are taking place within your heart. Because waiting is not just about receiving what you asked for. It is about becoming who you are meant to be in the process. And sometimes, the delay you are experiencing is not a denial, but a preparation for something you cannot fully understand yet. You are not forgotten, and your prayers have not been ignored. Even if the answers have not come in the way or timing you expected, there is still movement happening, even in what feels like stillness. So instead of letting frustration take over, allow this moment to deepen your trust in a way that circumstances never could. Because the strength you build in waiting will carry you into what comes next with a steadiness you would not have had otherwise. And as you step into your day, carry this truth gently within you and let it shape the way you see every moment ahead. If this message spoke to your heart, take a quiet second to sit with it and do not rush away. Because sometimes the peace you are searching for begins when you choose to stay just a little longer in God's presence.